Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, this is our ninth lecture. In this lecture, we are going to work on the CRUD operation. And the CRUD operation, we will create four pages, or we can say there is four operation: create, read, update, and delete. Through every dynamic website must have these four operation. Through these four operation, you can insert, update, delete data from the database. So we will start how to do this in the MVC and MVC5. So you already studied the form and binding and also how to create the connection. We will use all those concepts here to perform the CRUD operation. So what is the first job in the CRUD operation? So here we are going to first of all create a model. I'm going to create a model class. So right click on the model class, go to add, and then add new class. So for now, I will just name it this as a student class and add it. Then create a few property. I will create some property here. This is just for the ID, and one more. This is for the name of the student, and one another that will be for the email of the student, and one more that is for the address of the student. So this property will store the address. That is enough for us. You can include as much as you want. So for now it's enough, and we don't want to include anymore. So we already studied the data annotation tags as well. You can use the data annotation tags here as well. Like if I want to select this as a key, so you can use key here and then include the reference library. And if you want to change the display name, so you can use the display and then the name attribute, and then select the display name. So this name will be displayed on the form which we are going to create for this student. So here is what I'm doing. Just I'm writing student name. So this will be visible on the form. Instead of name, it will display student name, and you can just repeat this for the student email as well, and you can repeat for the address as well, student address. So you can apply more data annotation tags as we studied, and you know how to apply. You can apply the regular expression, you can apply the range, and so on. Based on the condition, you can apply so many data annotation tags. For this example, this is enough. So this is the first step. The second step, we are going to create another class, and there will be the DB context class. As we explained that the main class is DB context class. It has so many responsibility. So I will name it std context. So that is std context. Here, first of all, I'm going to create a constructor here and call the base function. The base, and here I'm going to include the name of the connection. So use name, and I will name it CRUD. Got it? So this is the name of the connection. I didn't inherit the DB context. I must inherit DB context class. Include the library, this one. So that's it. And here I'm going to create the DB set property. So create the dbset property public dbset and pass the class name. What was the class name? That was student, isn't it? Use std and create a get insert property. Get insert. So we create this property in one more. We are using database that set initializer. Pass the std context and here use new drop create database if model change. We already studied, you know how it's work. std context and context class. We need one db context class for each project. One db context class is necessary for each project. You can use more than one as well, but it will be good to use one and include all the dbset property here, include the connection name here, and include this database initialization strategy. You can use different strategy. So I have selected this one because we are working on the project. There may be so many changes. So I have used drop create database if the model change. If you bring some changes in the model, so in that time, it will remove the previous database and create a new database for you. So in the development phase, we need this strategy. But if you want to deploy the website, do not use this strategy because there's a chance to lose your data. So you have to change the strategy. We have studied 4 different strategies. You can select one of them. Okay, so that is our DB context class. The third step is we are going to create a connection. So click here and search for the connection. What was the name of this database? SQL Server. So here you have to include the server name. The server name may be different in different cases. You may have different server name, I may have different one. So here is, I'm going to copy the server name and then paste it here. Here is my SQL servers. I have these 2 servers. I will use this one. Let's rename and copy. That is present in SQL Server Object Explorer. Then I'm going to back to SQL Server and click this one. You know, here is selected Microsoft SQL Server Client. And I'm just going to paste it and create a database for you. I will just create a database with the name CRUD. Click OK. And wait for it. So this take a lot of time to create. So the message says, would you like to attempt to create database? Yes, we want to create the database. And here is the database is created. Now right click on it, go to property and copy the connection string. Control A, Control C. After that, your job is to open the web.config file. So the web.config file is open, and here is the connection string section. Here include your connection. Use add and the name of the connection. What was that? That was CRUD. And the connection string is this one, which we copied from there. And one more thing, provider name. Which database we are using? We are using SQL Server. So the provider name is system.data.sql client. You have to use this provider name. So that's the connection that we have created. The connection is created. What we did till now, we create a domain class, model class, student, and then we create a DB context class, and then we set the DB set property, database initialization strategy, and then the connection string name. Then we create a connection, that is our connection. We copy the path and we open the web.config, and here we create the connection. So this is our server name. If you want to create this database in your own computer, so you have to write down here your server name. Got it? In my case, the server name is localDB MS SQL localDB. So you have to write your own server name. Got it? Okay. Now we are going to create CRUD operation. Got it? So first we will start from the insertion. From the insert page to insert the data to the database. So for that, I have to create the insert page here first. So I'm just going to, okay, that would be better to create first the controller. I will just create a controller, right click on the controller, go to controller, and for now I'm going to create the empty controller because I want to write everything by myself, and I will name it my controller. So controller is created. Here is I want to create a method, public action result, and I will name it insert. Got it? Insert. So as I told you, we have we have to create two types of method. One is HTTP post and one HTTP get. So this will be HTTP get method. HTTP get, because this method is used to return only the view. So here I will write return view. This will just return an empty view, and here we need to create one more method, public action result, and the same name insert, but this one will be the post method. This method will be used to insert the data to the database. We already studied this action selector. Got it? So here I'm using the HTTP post. This method will be used to insert the data. So here what we are using binding. If you remember, we already studied binding. Got it? And this is what? This is attribute binding. We studied several types of binding. One of them is attribute binding, which is included in the MVC 5. So we will use this binding here. And here I'm going to include all the field of this student class that contain ID, name, email, and address. So here I will use ID. The spell must be same, exactly same. ID, name, and email, and address. And after that, here I'm going to create the object. It is the student class, student. So include the directory. It's present in the model. Include the model and create the object here. Got it? Here is the object. I'm going to create the object. Let's say S. That's clear. S is the object. And here I'm going to write down the code for the insertion. After that, I will design a view for this. Got it? So I'm writing code for the insertion. And you will see in the entity framework, so the insertion code is very, very simple. There is a few line of code and only 4 line of code. So here is I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to check the model, use if model state dot is valid. So this property is used to check the validity of the model. So if there is no problem in the model binding, if everything is clear, then it will perform this code. This code will be executed. Otherwise, this code inside this brackets, it will not be executed. So model is valid is going to check the binding and the validity of the model. Got it? To submit the form to the database. And here I'm going to, on the top of this page, what I'm doing, I'm going to create a object of the DB context class. Object of the DB context class. So what is the name of our DB context class? std context. So I will use DB is equal to new std context. As you know, this DB context class is the key class of the entity framework. This class is responsible for the insertion, deletion, updation. Every job will be performed, every task will be performed by this DB context class. So here we are using this object DB dot. What was the property? You know, this is the std property which is present in the DB context class. Got it? You can see std context, which is our DB context, that std. We define this std property here. In that we are using add, and then we are passing the object. What is our object? This is our object. So this pass it, and this is the insertion code. It will insert the data. Once the data become inserted, then we are using db.savechange. So commit the data. So this two line of code is used for the insertion. To insert data to the database using entity framework, we are using this two line of code. Got it? Is it clear? And here we are going to return the view. And that's it. Got it? We return the view here. Let me check what is the problem in the binding. Okay. In the binding, we just use bind. Here is include. We just skip the include keyword. Here, we have to use the include. Include equal to this. Now it's okay. Okay, dear student, what we did in the controller, we create two methods. One is get method and one is post method. Get method is used to return the view only, and the post method is used to insert the data to the database. Because you know the get method is used for retrieving the data. It's not safe, it's not secure. The data is visible in the URL, but the post method is secure, that can be used to insert the data in the binary form, and you can insert large amount of data. So we are using post for the insertion, and get just to retrieve a simple view. In that view, you will insert the name, the email, the address, and once you press the submit button, then it will call this method, and this method will insert the data. And let me explain this code again. Model is valid. It will check the validity of the model. Got it? So whether the model is valid or not, or whether the binding is performed successfully or not. If everything is okay, if there is no error, then we just create this object. This is the object of the DB context class, which we have created. And then we call the std property. This std property will present here. We create this std property. The student class. Got it? And then we use the add function. This add function is used to add this data. So the data is present in the object. You know, this is the object which we have created here. So this will be passed to the database. Got it? And then we call the savechange function to commit the data, and finally we retrieve the view. Okay, the second job is we are going to create a view for this one. Right click on the insert and a view, create add. So here we are going to create the view, and this view will contain a form and that will insert data to the database. Got it? It will insert the data to the database. Okay. So first of all, we have to include here the directory use model, and what is the name of our project? That is CRUD. Use the name of the project dot the name of the model and the name of the class. We need to use this to use the property of these one. So CRUD, CRUD, this D is also capital, dot models dot student. Let me check here. CRUD dot models, MODELS, and dot student. Yeah, but why it shows the error? It's okay, sorry, it's model. There was spelling mistake, model. So we include this model. Let me include again. CRUD dot model dot student. Okay, we include this. Now it's okay. And we are using the property of this model class. No, we are not including std context. We are just including the student class. And here I'm going to create the form. You already studied the form, you know what is it. I'm using the using block. And here I'm using HTML helper class. You already know what is the HTML helper. And then begin form. Okay, begin form. To store the form. Okay, dear student, what is the first attribute of the begin form? Who will tell us? Huh? The first attribute of the begin form is the action method name, and the second attribute you can see here is written string action name and string controller name. So MVC is self-explanatory. It has explanation by itself, and there is the name of the controller, and then you can see form method. Which method we are using? We are using the post method. So form method dot post. What's wrong here? It is form, sorry, form method dot post, because we are going to insert the data. So use what? Post. Okay, what is our action method name? Go to the controller. Inside the controller, we have to use this name, because here's the binding in this method will and insert the data. You can see this, the method is post. So just copy this name and go to here. We use the method post, so that will call the post method, the action method. And here is what is our action method name? That is my. Okay, after this we have completed, and what the next we are using HTML. Okay, HTML helper class dot anti-forgerytoken. So why we are using this token? This token is used to avoid the forgery attack token. So this anti-forgery token is used to avoid the forgery, or some people say forgery attack on your form. So if you use this token, then the hacker cannot perform a type of attack on your form, on your page. Clear? You have to use this in the insert page or also in the update page. So after that, we are going to create a table, and inside the table, we are going to create the text box and the label. So here is, I'm going to create the table and using the bootstrap classes, bootstrap class, that is the table and table. Which one you are using? Let me use stripped. That's it. And here I'm going to design. First of all, use the tr. Inside the tr, use I'm using the strongly typed form. So label for what? Label for name. We are going to display label for name. So I'm using here the lambda expression m dot name. So that is the label for name. And the second TD will be used for the text box. Got it? So use HTML helper class dot text box for, and use the lambda expression dot name. Got it? And then use new and add the bootstrap class if you want. Add class is equal to form control. So that is the bootstrap class that we have added here. We complete one row. Just to save time, copy paste this, Control C, and paste it for the email. So just change this one to email, m dot email, and also change this one to email. Okay, one more, that is for the address. So for the address, what we are using? We are using dot text area. Okay, let me use from the scratch art HTML dot text area for this one. Now it's okay, because this is the address section. You can use text area for, or you can use text box as well. And this you can use rows. Okay. Okay, let me just, it's okay. Text box is okay because the address. It's okay, text box. Okay, what we did, we create these three text box in label. One for the name, one for the email, one for the, this one is address. Address. And use address here. And we need one button, got it? One submit button. So here create the tr and create the td, and inside that use input type submit, and the value insert, and the bootstrap class is btn success. Okay, dear student, we complete the form. So this is our form and that is completed. And now we can use this form to insert data to the database. So let me run it. If you have any problem, you can ask. Okay, Masihul asked the question that what is redirect, why we are using redirect. Here is Masihullah. In the controller section, once we insert, this is the insert method. Once you insert the data, so we just want to be redirect from this insert page to the index method. And where is the index method? So this is the index method. And this index method will display us all the record from the database. Got it? It will display all the record from the database. So this is the index page. So therefore we want to be redirect. And here one thing more, if you want to sort this in the descending order, so you can use order by descending. This is order by descending is used to sort your data and descending order. Okay, let me run it again and you will see how the redirection work. I'm going to run the insert page. So this is the insert page. It will display the insert form for us. This is the insert page. Remember, once I enter the data, got it? I enter the data. Once I click on the insert, so this page will insert the record and become redirect to the show. Let's see. I clicked in the insert button and that become redirect to the index. This is the index page. You can see here, this is the index page. And it shows the record. The record is inserted and it shows. Now I solve it. I just sorted in the descending order. You can see now the data is sorted in the descending order. Got it or not? Okay. So one thing more, I want to, okay, now if you want to add more records, so how you can add? Here I will add a link, and once you click on it, so you can add more record. Okay. I think now the record is. Can you hear me? Masihullah? Can you hear me?
No, now we can see the record. Before there was no record. Now we can
now it's recording. Okay, it's okay. Okay, so here is here we create this option. Now let me explain it again because in that time the record was off. So here we want to add action link. Once you click on this action link, so it will display the insert page, and from there you can insert the data. We use this action link, and this is the text of action link, and this is the action method. Once you click on this action link, it will execute this action method. So we run it, and you can see here on the top of the index page, there's a link, add new record. Once you click on it, so from here you can add new record. Got it? So you can add new record from here. And if you insert, you will become redirect to this page. So that was about the insertion and show record.